What's up, Happiest Hour fam, and welcome back to another episode of the Happiest Hour on Earth. This week, it's a little bit of a doozy because we are going to be talking about some Disney hot takes or some, unpopular opinions within the Disney sphere. And so we've been thinking about this episode for a while now, and
it's a little touchy. It's kind of scary to bring up things that you might not care about as much that other people really do love.
Yeah. Oh,
you might get some hate,
because we were thinking, you know what, this is going to be kind of easy. And then we asked on our Instagram some hot takes. And with some of our listeners, we got a little offended.
Boiling hot takes.
Yeah, some boiling hot takes. Now, we love you guys no matter what, even if you disagree with a lot of our opinions. And so that's our disclaimer for this episode. If we say anything that you don't agree with, know that that's just our internal opinion. And there's some factors why we believe that. But we still enjoy those things. They just might be a little bit of a hotter take. Yeah. And you know what? We're just going for it, and we're excited that you're here along for the ride. And just know if we say anything upsetting about one of your favorites, know we still love you, and know that we could always change our minds.
That's true.
We can.
You never know.
It's true. So with that, I think we are ready to jump into this episode. So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, guys, we are back this week with a snack / drink, I guess.
Yeah.
This time it's actually a milkshake. So I guess it's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, and it's kind of a dessert too. It's like
it just wraps up everything in one.
Which is good because it's been a while since we've done a snack or a drink. So a milkshake, we didn't even think about that. But honestly, it's combining a lot into one.
It is. It just had to happen.
It's been a long time.
Far too long. I feel like we've seen this before.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty popular. We saw it last night and we were like, let's just try that one because I could go for a dessert for sure.
Yeah.
And I, on a not normal basis, but there's a family snack or, treat that we've made in my family for a while. It's basically the same thing as this. I haven't even announced what it is. This is actually the peanut butter and jelly milkshake from the 50s Primetime Cafe in Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
So it sounds amazing. We've never had it there, but I have made a variation of it at home, which is literally just vanilla ice cream and peanut butter. And
it's the best thing ever.
It's delicious. It's like one of my favorite things in the entire world. I just stir it up like crazy until it's really, really well mixed. This time we did it with a blender, and it's like the perfect milkshake consistency.
Yeah. And it has jelly, so you can't go wrong with that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm pretty pumped about it.
Let's jump in.
Let's do it. I'm ready. And we're going full 50s diner style with this milkshake with
almost
our 2 straws.
Lady and the Tramp. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of Lady and the Tramp mess.
Oh, man. Really thick.
Oh, my. Very thick. But so good. Oh, my gosh. Yep. It's like a butter and jelly sandwich.
That is incredible. That is so good. I think I might have to edit the episode here a little bit because I just kind of want to jump in.
We might need a little more time to enjoy some of this. It's kind of hard to drink, so I don't want to.
It is a little hard to drink. I don't want you guys to see or hear what's about to happen. All right, so that was one of the tastiest things I've had in a very long time. Mm-hmm. That was incredible.
So good.
If you haven't gotten this in the parks yet, go ahead and get it in Hollywood Studios. If you're not going to Walt Disney World anytime soon, making it at home. Super easy. Yeah. Super easy.
You probably have most of the stuff in your kitchen at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyways, so you might as well just make it. It's so good.
That is incredible. And it feels good to do a snack and a drink again,
Yeah, it was time for sure.
Yeah. And if you have any in particular that you want us to make, definitely let us know if you're watching on YouTube in the comments below, or just hit us up on Instagram because there are some that we just haven't heard about or have tried and haven't made. So definitely let us know, and we'll love to try to recreate that for you guys.
Definitely. For
Yeah.
sure.
So before we jump into this hot take episodes, I love that we're talking about hot takes while we had something very cold, a little milkshake, but just makes sense.
To even out the hot.
Yes, exactly. But before we jump in, we just had a little taste of Disney in our house. And that's always a fun way to kind of feel the Disney feels in your own house when you just came back from a trip and you're missing the parks. And
As we are.
exactly,
currently.
it's like a sense, right? Like as you taste something, it just reminds you of the Disney magic. Music is another way, podcasts another way. Just hearing people talk about Disney, it kind of helps you when you're missing the parks. But if you're missing the parks like we are, there's another sense that really kind of puts you into the magic. And so we recently partnered with Magic Candle Company. And if you don't know who they are, you got to know who they are, because scent is such an important part of like feeling connected to something and like bringing back memories and just bringing back those good times. And they create not only candles, they create fragrance oils, car fresheners, air fresheners, the spray, foaming hand soaps, and all of that, anything to do with the scents, but they're all Disney, which is just so fun. And I think our favorites has to be the Pirates of the Caribbean, Pirate Life. So you can find it on their site under Pirate Life. They also have Splash, which is
Even more special now.
yes, now that it's going away. They have a churro one. They also had a Orange Grove, which is like soaring over California, which we still have, and we'll spray it in our house to just just feel like we're on the ride a little bit. But they have a ton. They have scents from the resorts, scents from tons of different rides, food, snack, everything. And with our code HappiestHour, you could save 15% off your entire order. So go on there, grab a foaming hand soap, grab a candle, all that good stuff, and be transported into Disney. It's amazing.
Can feel like Disneyland.
It is so awesome.
For sure.
But with that, I think we're ready to jump in to these hot takes. Do you want to kick us off?
Okay.
Are you okay?
I'll start. Yes.
We have 10, by the way. So there's a good amount in here. And like our disclaimer says, don't get mad at us. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. It's just our own personal opinions.
Yeah.
But our first one is that the popcorn in Disneyland is a little bit overrated. We had it for the first time on this last trip a few weeks ago. We had it for the first time during the parade, Magic Happens, which was fun. It was nice to have it during a show. That was kind of my thinking. Like, if I'm going to get popcorn, I'll have it during one of the shows. It's just kind of like a nice thing to snack on. Actually, I'm pretty sure we finished it before the parade started.
Just like a movie, you know.
As
You got to
it goes
finish the
with
popcorn before the movie, yeah.
All three of us and our son, were snacking on it, so it went pretty fast.
Yeah.
And it is good popcorn. I would never say that any popcorn is not good, especially in a Disney park. It was good popcorn. I just personally prefer to get other types of snacks in Disneyland.
Yeah.
Because popcorn is something I occasionally make at home, like for a movie night. We'll make popcorn every so often, and it's just as good, if not better, I would say.
I think that's where it becomes like a pretty hot take, is that like we told everyone, we've mentioned it multiple times on our show. We have some friends who are also podcasters. I don't know if I want to, I'll call them out. Make It Magical and Market House podcast. I think they're like, the popcorn, no, you just got to go for it. And we're like, well, we want, like the pretzel, the churros, like all those ones. And they're like, no. And it's really good. It's good popcorn. But honestly, I've thrown ours in the microwave before for a movie night at our house, and it was better.
Yeah.
Sorry, like
a little bit more like fresh butter flavor, I just feel like the popcorn at Disneyland, it's probably been sitting there like all day.
I don't know. Yeah, it was a little underwhelming. Yeah, underwhelming. Yeah. So you know what? We tried it. Thanks to everyone, and some of our listeners told us about it too. Thank you for letting us know about it. And
may not be the last time we ever have it. It is a nice snack to have for shows, and it's cheap. I mean, it was like, what was it, under $5?
I think it was like $6.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought it was very cheap.
I forgot how much it was. because at Disney you just don't even think about the
Yeah,
price.
you don't
just
really
say, I'm
think
going to
about
get
it
it, right?
anymore.
But I would take a pretzel over that. I'm sorry. So popcorn, thank you for being a part of
your time.
other people's lives. But ours, we're going to stick to some other delicious Disney snacks.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So another one. And also as we get through these, some of these may or may not be the hottest takes, because there might be some people that totally agree with us. But we just kind of feel like they're a little bit of a hot take, but some might not be as spicy as others.
Not
but
as spicy.
Jumping into a ride now, we don't really care for Incredicoaster too much.
Yeah.
We think that California Screamin' was actually a better ride. And so
better.
to break it down, I always love theming. I like IP that is put into rides, right? Like, from movies and shows and all that stuff. But I think you shouldn't change a ride if you can't make it look immersive. And Incredicoaster at night, I've seen videos of it at night, and it looks a little bit more immersive, but just like Rock and Roller Coaster or Space Mountain, or in more recent Disney rides, Cosmic Rewind, you're able to, because it's an indoor coaster, you're able to put things in there,
Lights and stuff.
lights,
help it
and make it dark
feel-
so that the lighting you could really kind of control. Making an outdoor roller coaster themed, I don't think was the best idea, just because
It didn't work very well.
yeah, it was multiple things. It was like, as we rode on it and you see the faces not move like we're used to seeing animatronics
But
on
yeah,
the
you
ride.
hear all the action
Yeah.
happening. And
You
like,
hear them
things going
talking and
on.
it's
Just
just a
doesn't
straight
feel
face.
real.
And I was like, oh, this kind of pulls me out of it a little bit. And then there's that one scene with Jack, where you could literally see the poles like holding him up. And I was like, okay, that just kind of does it for me.
Yeah.
Like it's a
cheap.
it kind of felt a little bit cheap. I like the music on it because I love Michael Giacchino's score for
But I
Incredicoaster.
always
But
love
I love the Screamin'
Screamin'.
original soundtrack. And
The
also
OG.
there was something about that big drop with the music from California Screamin' that had this
Got you so
anticipation. It like slows down, and then right as you're coming up over that curve, it starts speeding up again. I think because that song was made specifically for the ride, where Incredicoaster's song was taken from the movie. So they try their best to do it, and it's Pixar Pier, so they had to do something. And I think Incredibles is the best IP
could've
to
gone
put
there.
into that attraction. But honestly, I like California Screamin' better.
Same.
I have to ride Incredicoaster at night, but yeah.
Yeah, we
that's
haven't
just-
ridden it in a long time. I think I may have only ridden it once.
Yeah, and
since
then we
it's
had
been
our
there.
son, so it was harder to. Yeah.
I just haven't really, and my motion sickness has just gotten really bad. I think even at the time that I rode it, I was kind of like, woo, it was a little rough.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just haven't really felt the need to ride it again ever since, which, I like roller coasters. Obviously I love space and all the other ones, but yeah, just kind of didn't stick as a favorite after it changed. I don't know. I
Yeah.
always loved Screamin' so much.
Yeah, I know.
So fun.
It's crazy.
But anyways, for our next one, we would have to say that Avengers Campus in general and Web Slingers just didn't live up to the hype that we feel like was kind of promised to us all as they were making it.
Yeah.
I, for one, actually haven't been on Web Slingers. I know you have, but I have heard a lot about it. And I know that it's pretty much exactly like Midway Mania, just with webs.
Yeah. It's slightly different. It's like there's a lot going on. It's very chaotic, and your arms get very tired. But yeah, it's
I haven't
whatever.
really felt the need to do it. And in general, I just think that Avengers Campus is a little bit lacking. I mean, we were just talking about it, and there was supposed to be another ride.
An
that has not
Avengers-based
happened.
ride. Yeah.
I feel like every time we're in Avengers Campus, it's a very quick time. Like we're
Yeah.
either eating something at Pim's or usually drinking something. I
Yeah.
don't think we've actually eaten anything at Pim's yet.
Yeah. We need to
But
get that
we're
pretzel.
at Pim's or we're just like taking a photo somewhere or watching Spider-Man for
Yeah.
a quick sec, which is cool.
That's the best part of Avengers Campus, I think, is the Spider-Man stunt show, and it happens, kind of quick. But yeah, it just kind of feels like it was a different land, and they tried to, which it was Bugs Land. It was a different land, and then they tried to fit it within the constraints of something that was already kind of small, and it just kind of feels
it feels like
odd.
There's not much there. Like, as I walk through it, it feels just like a bunch of open space with like, I mean, I like open space, but it just feels like for Avengers, which is like such a huge thing, just feels kind of like small.
Yeah.
And the
thing is, I always think the only ride is Web Slingers because Guardians Mission Breakout was already there.
And I always feel like it's a part of it. It feels like once you enter where Pym's is, that's where Avengers Campus starts. So it feels like anything outside of that
is still kind of like the Hollywood area, just because that's what we know. That's like what's ingrained in our minds. Obviously, we love Mission Breakout. That's the best. That's the best part of Avengers Campus, but it doesn't really feel like it's an Avengers Campus. But yeah, I wish that it had a little bit more. And the thing, I was talking to a couple other Disney pages about this, more recently, Country Critters on Instagram, and we were talking about how Disney promises a lot and then will cut that down a lot. And we were talking specifically about Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and the first concept art, it had Mama Odie's like ship treehouse on top of the Splash Mountain structure, and we're like, that looks awesome. Mm-hmm. And then they just slightly put out another concept art, and that's not in it. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then just like Avengers Campus, we're going to have an Avengers ride and a Spider-Man ride. And then Avengers ride is nothing. And then Galaxy's Edge, same thing. Love Galaxy's Edge. But they said, we're going to have aliens and robots all around. It's going to be like a LARPing experience. It's going to feel like you're actually there. Maybe you're going to go to Oga's Cantina and someone's going to call you out because you smashed the Millennium Falcon. Like, they said all this stuff, and it's like, that didn't really happen, So Disney overpromises and then pulls it back, which I just feel like they should have gone.
I wish it would be the opposite, that they would like give you a little bit to like be like, this is probably going to happen, and then do even more, hopefully, to make it more exciting, rather than promising all this and then making it way less. It's like, you're just disappointing everybody, you know?
It is. And that's kind of what Avengers Campus kind of felt like. You know what, though? Every time we go in, I feel like I like it more and more. Yeah. So I'm getting to a point where I actually like it. But the first time I went in, I was like, what is
underwhelming experience. I feel like it's nothing that I'm like super wowed at, Yeah. I mean, it's cool that there's characters walking around and stuff, but that's kind of everywhere you go in the park. So
exactly.
I don't know. I could take it or leave it. I liked Bugs Land, so.
Hey. That's a hot take.
I mean, it provided a lot of shade.
Actually, I think I've talked to some people and we're like, Bugs Land was technically more immersive than Avengers Campus. We never like stayed there or did any of the rides, but walking through it. Coolest. Yeah, the bathroom was so cool. I loved it. But yeah, it actually was incredibly immersive. It felt like you were a tiny little bug.
I did.
It was awesome.
It really did. I loved that land personally. Yeah. I mean, didn't really ride the rides, but just being in it, I always loved it.
I liked it. Yeah. So next up we have, and this one might be not as hot, but Star Tours better than Smuggler's Run. Smuggler's Run, being in the Millennium Falcon, is the coolest thing ever, and I wouldn't trade that. I'm so glad that we're able to go see the Millennium Falcon and then actually be in it. But just about the overpromising thing too. They said there's going to be different missions, and you get, it's going to be a new experience every time. And it's like, well, we've done the exact same thing for so many years now. And the ride's dependent on, I like the concept of it, but the ride, if someone is piloting the Millennium Falcon and they are really bad at it, your experience is not going to be that great. And so Star Tours, I almost loved Star Tours more than I ever had. after going on Smuggler's Run, because it's like you just sit back, relax. They take you to a couple different adventures, and it's actually, I'm like, that's actually an incredible ride after Smuggler's Run. So that's
so
that
much
one.
variety.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because there's different missions, and then literally Smuggler's Run is the exact same thing. Okay, are you gonna get the next one?
Yeah. Why?
Oh yeah, it's just this one's a little bit hot. Maybe.
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
everybody's kind of mixed on it, maybe. And we talked about it last week, but Wondrous Journeys we saw while we were on our last trip a few weeks ago. And again, we're a little underwhelmed. And we had seen it on YouTube. We watched it ahead of time because we wanted to know kind of what to expect and whether it was worth it to try and see it while we were there. And I really liked it a lot on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like we watched it on the view,
The castle.
where it's on the castle, and I feel like you could see it better. I still feel like you couldn't see it that great. My personal opinion is that projection shows just are not that great because you cannot see things clearly enough to make it like super special.
Yeah.
Like everything I was seeing, it's like I would have to like look really close and like catch it, and then it would change immediately. So it was like it's such a quick and short show already. I don't hate the show itself.
Yeah, the show. If I was watching that on like a, on a like an actual screen, it's a beautiful.
It is really
show.
quick. I wish.
It is.
I don't know why they
quick.
made it such a short.
But the
one,
flow
to have
is
every Disney movie ever in there and make it only what is it like?
It's like
under 15 minutes. Yeah. Like they could have made it longer. I don't know why everything had to be so short. And then other sections got really long. Like it just felt like kind of disjointed a little bit.
I like the flow and the stories that are in it a lot. But I think it really comes down to projection only shows. I mean, granted, on weekends they do fireworks. We saw it projection only, but I mean, it's honestly like you're just waiting around to watch like a little tiny clip, like a little movie,
Like
and then you're
so
done.
quick.
Unless there's fireworks that enhance it, and you see it at the castle, because obviously the castle is just a beautiful sight to look at too. But
I compare it to World of Color, which is a projection show of sorts, but on water. But it's a clear slate canvas for all the video to be put on,
and that is more enticing or more like intriguing because it's on water. And the water moves. The water moves. Yeah, it's not just like a building that's like, just like watch moving things on me. It's like, no, the water's gonna move and the pictures are gonna move. And the water has depth. They get really small, really big, all this stuff. So any projection show that's not on water, I'm kind of over. However, Katie at the Happiest Ginger on Earth, she's amazing. We love you. Thank you so much for listening to our show and becoming friends with us. She said a really good spot to catch Wondrous Journeys is at Small World. So I just got to throw that out there. We haven't seen it there, but apparently just the facade is a lot more smooth and flat than like Main Street where we watched it. But all that to say, projection shows. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I always feel moved after seeing World of Color.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like I connected with it more seeing it that clearly.
Yeah.
But I just didn't quite feel that after watching Wondrous Journeys.
We'll have to see it again at the castle.
Yeah.
All that to say, we're moving on to the next one. We decided to throw in a movie one here because most of this is park based, but this is a movie hot take.
Yeah.
We
kind of
like
relates back to the
a little bit, yeah. This might make some people mad, but we like the idea of Nightmare Before Christmas more than the actual movie. So let's break this down. We love the Nightmare Before Christmas holiday overlay at Disneyland. So much. I mean, I think the original and that are pretty on par in our book because we love doing them both. They're both so special in their own ways. And because we love the ride one so much and love Jack Skellington, we like the characters so much. Jack Skellington and Sally, we love that whole idea of them. But every year we watch the movie and we watch it and we love like a lot of parts about it. But overall, we're just kind of like, we get a little bit like, okay.
I feel like I'm into it for the first like 15, maybe 20 minutes of like the first couple really good songs. And then it kind of loses me personally.
Yeah. I mean, don't like Lock, Shock, and Barrel.
Yeah. And the
I want to punch them in the face.
Guy.
Yeah. The doctor. Yeah. Like Sally's creator.
Captor. Yeah.
Yeah. Captor. That Duck Bill, I want to punch his little face off.
Yeah.
You know, in the nicest way possible.
Yeah. It's I would say that I gained a much bigger appreciation for the movie after being on the ride as many times as I have with the overlay. I'm always excited to go on the ride every time we're there, you know, in that time frame where the overlay is going. I love it. It's so much fun. And, you know, it has made me appreciate all the characters. And I love the fandom for Nightmare. Like I love how much people love it. It's just that for me, I'm not like as obsessed with it. It's just, it's like fun to go on the ride, could take or leave the movie.
Yeah. And like we said, the idea of the movie, like we have to watch it every year.
We watched it at Halloween too. I don't know if that's another hot take. Yeah. Some people, it's always a Christmas thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I always thought it was okay.
No, a lot of people it is.
It should Christmas. Honestly be a November movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Gotta bring it in both. But we love watching the first 20 minutes. And then I feel like there's been some times where we watch the first 20 minutes and then we're like, all right. Like,
yeah, I kind of get distracted. I'll like be doing something else after a little bit. But, to each their own. I'm glad everybody loves it so much because it is kind of just like a cult classic. Yeah. I guess it's just people's thing, which is cool.
Exactly.
So moving on. This one I definitely threw in here, but we both agree.
Yeah.
This is taking things over to the East Coast. Our personal opinion is that Figment sucks. We're just not about Figment.
The Figment we know today
sucks. Yeah. Not that we ever experienced the past Figments,
but everyone loved the past Figment. The new one, the smelly one.
I just don't know if the personality has changed much. Maybe it has.
I think it has. I think he's more annoying and chaotic now.
Okay.
I remember doing our like worst Disney ride episodes, and I remember reading and watching videos of the old one, and he was a little more tame.
Well, maybe we would have liked the old Figment more. I don't know. But the current one, not about it. And I will personally never understand the fad that he is.
But I'll never understand it. I'll never understand it, but I appreciate, like, people that love Figment, I'm like rooting you on. I'm like, dude, get all the Figment lounge get all the Figment merch, popcorn buckets, meet him when he comes to Epcot. Like, that's so exciting. But for me, I'm like, I don't get it. But,
never care to go on the ride again. And the character himself, I would probably never buy anything with Figment on it.
You wouldn't meet him in the parks? I feel like I would.
Definitely not.
No. Oh, what?
I would not take the time for that.
He'd fart on you.
Oh. Okay, well, you convinced me.
He's very nice. Very smelly.
Yeah. Next.
Actually,
this was also kind of mine. But
you go for it since it's kind of yours. Because I've almost taken on this opinion because you never wanted to go on it. And so I've been like, okay.
This is probably kind of a hot take because I know a lot of people love this ride. But out of all the Disneyland rides, one of the ones that I care the least about and would be fine if it was gone forever is Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters.
Which I feel like will make a lot of people mad because a lot of people love getting down, getting that high score, doing all that good stuff. But
I love Toy Story. I'm a huge Toy Story person, but the handful of times I've gone on the ride I've never enjoyed it. It's just like, I never do well. That's probably why I don't like it as much.
Yeah, and I feel bad doing so well. So I just feel like we should just avoid it.
I mean, we can go on it next time we're there if you'd like, but it always just feels like kind of a waste of time to me. Like, I much prefer Midway Mania over Buzz. And they're both Toy Story rides, so I would take Midway Mania any day, and I can do much better on that ride. I, for some reason, can just never aim right in Buzz, and it's just, my score is always extremely low. So it's just not as enjoyable.
Yeah, it's hard because I do love the physical aspect of it. I love like the animatronics. I love that like everything's in a physical, environment where Midway isn't, but Midway is just so fun.
Much more fun. Yeah, your
the
ride
music
vehicle,
is so great.
you're, like flinging around, it feels so much more like a ride and a game mixed.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel, I don't know. That's just me. I know a lot of people love Astro Blasters. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, Buzz just isn't a favorite of mine. So sorry, guys.
Yeah. And on that topic, speaking of Tomorrowland rides, this isn't even in our list, but a lot of people hate another ride so much in Tomorrowland and wish it was gone. They always talk about Autopia, and I was of that mindset too for such a long time. And if they were to bring like Tron or something in, I'd say, okay, we get rid of it. But I went on it again with my son, and to see him and other kids feeling so excited because they get to drive again. And when I was a kid too, and being able to drive, that was the only time I got to be in a car. That is stripping away a lot from kids, because I remember I wasn't old enough to go kart yet, but I was old enough to go on Autopia. And so it's something for the kids. It's like, man, it's hard to take that away. Anyways, that's not on our hot take list, but we're going to jump into the next one, which we both
are a little bit split on this, but I think my opinion is set.
I'm going to say one thing and then you could say the other thing. I think Trader Sam's is just as good as Oga's Cantina. Put that.
I think Trader Sam's is better than Oga's, but it's, I think, all a matter of opinion, which all of this is. But I love tropical drinks. I love lounging by tiki torches. I love just the whole tropical vibe of Trader Sam's. It's just like my ideal type of bar. I love Star Wars too, but I feel like the few times we've been to Oga's, the atmosphere is really cool. Like, it really does feel like you're in Star Wars. I would not deny that. And the drinks are really good. But it's always been in kind of like an uncomfortable setting. Like, we're either sharing a table with people we didn't know, because that's just where we were able to fit in, or we were standing. I think we've been twice, and that was both the times. So my experiences there just haven't been as great, and it's just kind of a little bit chaotic in there. I know inside Trader Sam's is a little chaotic too, but it's just different. It's just really like, you just feel kind of rushed in Oga's. I feel like I always just feel like, okay, get a drink, get out, Yeah. Which, to each their own. The drinks are really good. I love tropical rum-based drinks.
Still, I love all the drinks at Oga's.
Yeah.
Oga's is amazing. The environment is so great. I wish it was a little bit bigger. I wish they kind of did things a little bit different. But because everyone wants to go in, you obviously have to share tables and do all this stuff, that isn't as relaxing of a setting, especially if you're going with your kids. But
it's true.
Our last one here, our last hot take, everybody.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is
and then we have a lot of listener responses as well.
Stick around for those listener hot takes, because those are pretty spicy. We're gonna just kind of quick fire go through them,
there's a lot.
because there's a lot, but you're gonna want to stick around because these are a little crazy.
Yeah.
But our last hot take is that park hopping isn't as glamorous as
it would
probably even the price tag suggests. So there's two things. I think especially if you're in Disney World, don't park hop.
Yeah.
If you're in Disney World, don't even pay the extra to park hop. It's not worth it. Focus on one park, spend all your time there, soak it in, right? Now with Disneyland, it's a little bit different because
it's easier to park
hop. But depending on the days you have, right? Like if you're only there for 2 days, I could see park hopping, right? If you're there for like 3 days, I think what I would like to do is focus a whole day in Disneyland, and then the second day do a whole day in California Adventure, and then end with another whole day in Disneyland. We have park hopped the last couple times, and we always grew up park hopping.
And it is really convenient. It's nice
convenient,
to be able to, if you're just like, if one park is super packed and you're just not feeling it, or if, you know, for some reason it just sounds better to be in the other side of things, it is convenient to do. I just feel like a lot of times it's not necessarily worth it, because we got park hopper tickets this last time and we park hopped the first day, but then we didn't even end up using park hopper the second day.
Yeah.
Because we just wanted more time in Disneyland. So it was like, that was kind of a waste of extra money.
I remember one time we didn't park hop, didn't spend the extra money to do so. And we actually liked it a little bit better, because we were like, we get to just focus and relax in this one land without trying to think about another one. So I am all for park hopping. If that's kind of your vibe, and we have done it the last couple of times, because it's just nice to have it, especially if you have friends there and they're going to be somewhere. So you like have to go over and see them and
have
park
the
hop.
Flexibility is
nice, but to pay so much more per ticket, I don't think it's necessary.
Like if you can plan around it, plan your days out enough to where you're like, there's nothing that we would need to park hop for. Like that we would really want to be back in the other park for. It's not worth it. Just save the money, because there's enough to do in both parks to make a full day out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And so those are our thoughts. But yeah, park hopping at Disneyland is a lot easier. But if you are trying to save money, I don't think it's a bad idea to just forego it and just focus on one park per day. Speaking of park hop, it's funny that this was on our hot takes list, because we literally are partnered with Park Hop Tees, which we love them so much. If you're looking for cool Disney clothes, use our code HappiestHour15.
Yes.
Get some good stuff. We are. Yeah. You're wearing the awesome Haunted Mansion. I'm wearing, I wear this shirt as every time it
lives in this shirt.
Every time it's washed, I wear it.
It's on all the time.
I know. It's just so good. It's so comfy.
It's a great shirt. And it's
Indiana Jones one. Yeah. And that's my favorite ride. So I just wear it all the time. Anyways, moving on from that, we are going to do some listener hot takes. I guess I could start off here. We broke it down in a couple of categories. We got snacks and food, everything that falls under that. We have some rides, which is pretty hot. And then movies, shows, and more. And so I'm going to start with these snacks and foods. And thank you all, listeners, for putting these in, because it always is really fun and exciting for us. But also some of these I'm like, wow, okay.
But it is really fun to just see people's opinions on things, because
it is.
Being Disney fans, it's easy to just assume everybody has the same opinion about everything and everybody loves the same stuff. But some people, it's just not the case. So there's a lot of hot takes.
There is. Okay, so we're going to start off here. We got a lot for this first one. We got at Live, Learn, Dream Magic, at Meg.Crofton, and at WDW Travel and Beyond. They said that they don't like Dole Whip. I know. They don't like Dole Whip.
And we happen to know for sure that Clayton of Make It Magical agrees on this.
He doesn't like Dole Whip either.
Discussion about this.
And I'm like, do you guys just not like pineapple? Or do you like pineapple and still hate Dole Whip? I don't know. Yeah. But Dole Whip is so good, especially the Dole Whip float. Like add a little extra in the swirl.
Get the float.
Well, I know that some people will say like, oh, the Dole Whip, like I'd rather just get ice cream. But I'm like, well, if you get it like a float, it's like it's not just ice cream. It's like it's something different. But the swirl is so good. Yeah.
Personally, because I think I had it on my first real trip to the park when I was a teenager with my friend, it became a staple snack for me for sure. I've always loved the Dole Whip. I'm sorry, guys, but that's, my take is Dole Whips are elite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're so good. They're so good.
Personally. But the next one comes from at Happiest Ginger on Earth. She said the raspberry rose macaron is no bueno. So I feel like I've seen that thing posted over social media a ton.
Yeah, it looks
We
really
didn't
pretty.
have it. Yeah, it looks beautiful. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of wish we had tried it. I feel like that's one I forgot about while we were there, and I've always been kind of interested to try because I like raspberry stuff. And we happen to know that this snack is at Felicia's Magical Travels favorite snack. So guess some people love it and some people hate it. I don't know. But
so you eat it and decide for yourself, just like we need to eat it and decide for ourselves.
We do.
Who do we agree
Next
with more, Katie or Felicia?
I don't know. Maybe we'll have to make it.
Oh,
but I don't
making a macaron.
I know.
Ooh,
I've seen it done, and it might be a little complicated.
You know what? We're gonna do it.
Maybe I'll try it. I don't know.
Gotta do it. Next up, we got at Always Sunny in Anaheim. She said this kind of falls under food restaurant that Ralph Brennan's makeover is not that bad. Now, I think a lot of Disney fans do overhype certain, or like not overhype, but like
overdo it
a little bit. Like that makeover is the worst thing ever. Like, you know, stuff. If I didn't know it before, I'd be like, that looks like a really cool place, like a jazz fusion kind of whatever. So I understand where you're coming from for sure. But knowing the old one, I feel like it did strip a lot of the real like
the
magical essence
of New Orleans that just was there before. It was like so perfect for what it was. Yeah. That I just don't feel like they needed to change it. I think it was kind of a waste of time and money.
Yeah. I think they're trying to turn downtown Disney. Like they're trying to like make it that like cool hip, like I guess kind of like Disney Springsy. Yeah. But they're trying to like make everything, but
it was such a vibe. It was such a good vibe before.
Yeah. But so, I mean, to each their own. Some people are going to like this vibe a lot more.
It's true.
And maybe when we see downtown Disney all reimagined, like they're working on right now, maybe it'll just fit with the aesthetic more.
Maybe,
we'll see.
Maybe it will.
Yeah. You want to go? So now we're jumping into rides. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I could go for this one. Okay. So at Kelsey Brisbois, I hope I said Brisbois.
Maybe.
Brisbois. Yeah.
I don't know.
We're just talking about
like French, maybe.
Jazz Kitchen, like Creole. Brisbois. I love that.
Maybe.
Please just correct us. We're totally butchering your last name. I love it. Even if it's Brisbois or Brisbois, amazing. I love it. So she said, Rise of the Resistance is absolutely not worth the $25 Lightning Lane. Great ride, but overhyped. And yeah, we've never paid for Lightning Lane and then paid extra. So I think
I agree.
If you're there for the first time and you haven't ridden it, well, I would say do standby. But if you're trying to see a lot of other things, I would say it's worth it then. But yeah, on a like I've been on it before. I love the ride, but yeah, I'm not going to pay that extra.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree that it's not worth it to pay that much extra for it. If it was like $5, maybe $10.
Yeah,
sure.
I would probably do it. Yeah.
But yeah, $25 on top of what you're paying for
so
Genie
$50 just to ride the ride.
That's insane. There's no way that's possibly worth it.
Yeah.
It's a great ride though. It is. I'd say it's top tier ride, but
yeah,
not worth the money.
I think this one's even spicier.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially for me, that's what I'm wearing. At Meg.Crofton said, not a fan of Haunted Mansion.
Meg, I thought we were friends.
Yeah, that's a pretty hot take because that's a fave of a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. To each their own, once again. I mean,
some people might not be like, we are so bad with like scary movies. Mm-hmm. But we love that ride. So we like semi-spooky. Mm-hmm. But I can understand why people don't even want to get into the spooky.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
But it is such a classic. So you should, if we're in the park together at the same time, ride it with us and we'll make you like it. That sounds like a threat. You better like Haunted Mansion.
You'll be forced to like it. Okay?
Yeah. Meg, please like it. But anyways, next up we have It's Lauren Renee. And she said Web Slingers is not a must-do attraction. And I agree. My boss was going to Disneyland for the first time in a long time earlier this year, last year. And I was like, yeah, try to go on Web Slingers if you can, but like, Like it's whatever. Like
Yeah.
focus on some other rides more. You know, even rides that have been there for a lot longer. And so yeah, we totally agree, Lauren. Web Slingers is it's like whatever.
Like
We have to get you on there, Em.
Yeah.
You'll
Maybe.
do
not.
it, and then it'll be your favorite ride after. Just
Probably
kidding.
not.
It's very exciting and very different. Not, but okay, yeah. Hit us. This one's really spicy too. You guys went all in on these.
Yeah.
We were afraid to get this hat
Yeah.
for our own opinions, but
we
you
were
guys are
nervous
doing all
about
the
our
heavy
own.
work. Yeah.
Some of these are much more intense than ours, so I don't feel so bad for our choices.
Yeah.
The next couple are pretty spicy. So at Plan Disney with Jill said, I know it's a classic, but I don't love Jungle Cruise. The skippers are fun, but the rest of the ride is meh. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Jungle Cruise is, it's a classic, just like she said. And I feel like I love it. I do think there's better rides, obviously, but it is just I don't know. There's something about it that's just so fun each time I go there. Yeah.
Now, one thing I can say about Jungle Cruise is I've been on the ride where the skippers will just say the jokes that you know and love. And at that point, I'm kind of like, okay, like, like you do the courtesy laughs, you know, it's fun. That's part of Jungle Cruise, right? Like the corny jokes. Mm-hmm. But this last time we went on Jungle Cruise, this guy added such a fun flair to it. He had his whole demeanor was just very different from other skippers. It was very kind of like extra dry, but also like kind of salty and like in a very fun way.
Yeah.
Sometimes but not even just dry and leave it at that. Like he was very into it, but dry at the same time. Yeah. And he had his own jokes, but also did the classic jokes. Yeah. And that is my favorite. Like that just makes me fall in love with the ride.
For sure.
Again, because that guy, we've had like maybe, I don't know, 3 times that stood out where I was like, this guy's just riffing. This guy's
you
doing
even
a
left
great
him.
time.
I think you left
cast compliment. Yeah. I was like, this guy was just amazing. Forgot his name, but he was one of the best skippers I had. And so that really makes or breaks the ride. You said that one? Ooh, I'm gonna drop another bombshell here. At WDW, Travel and Beyond, they said Peter Pan ride is trash.
Trash is a strong word. That is a strong word.
That is rough. Is it worth the line? I don't know.
Yeah, for the length.
Sometimes. But the ride is at least our, well, I guess Disneyland's and Walt Disney World's are, I think, pretty similar, but the suspension that you're flying, that's so magical.
Flying over London, flying through Neverland. I mean,
you know what?
I'm sorry.
If we're ever in the parks at the same time, we're going to force you to ride it with us.
Apparently, Chris is going to force everyone to ride the rides that they don't like. That's the plan. We're going to make sure you're
going to go on it and you're going to love it. And we'll get a fast way to get on it somehow. We'll do it together.
Probably not.
I'm going to change everyone's minds. No, just kidding. But yeah.
Sorry, don't agree. Peter Pan it's a fave. But it's also my favorite movie, so it's just kind of bound to be my favorite in the ride.
In line, yes. A lot of times we'll skip the ride because the line is so long.
Yeah.
But it is magical. We just rewrote it again this last trip, and it is so great. But hit us off with this last ride hot take. This is the newest, hottest.
Yeah. Okay. So at PPV with Liz Caruso said Tron is overrated. And we haven't been on it yet, so it's hard to say that for sure. But we know people who have been on it and loved it.
There's been a couple of social media Disney pages that have actually shared some similar thoughts that it's too short.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that it's too short for sure.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I feel like it came out kind of around the same time as
Cosmic Rewind.
Cosmic Rewind. Yeah. And everyone is obsessed with Cosmic Rewind. But I've definitely heard more good things about that than Tron.
Yeah, I think that Tron serves 2 purposes, right? Like to be a really cool ride, but also to bring life visually to a land. So if we had that in Tomorrowland here at Disneyland, I think that would just bring a whole bunch more new life to Tomorrowland because you get to see at night that beautiful, LED panel wall or whatever going. And so, yeah, it might be, I guess, everyone talks about Tron. Oh my gosh, we need Tron, all this stuff. And I'm sure if you write it and it's so short, you're like, oh, okay, it's not my favorite. But that was a really good one because that was like the fresh out of the oven.
Yeah, very fresh.
Very fresh. Now we're going to talk about our last category here, movies, shows, and more. We got At Magic King Dad, which we just saw in the parks a few weeks ago. Great dude, great beard, great content, just like you said
Everything's great.
last week. But he said fireworks shows at Disneyland are overrated, especially since they don't happen often. Now,
it's true. Fireworks are so sparse now.
Yeah.
I feel like there's never fireworks. Was it just too much with like weather not always working out and having to cancel them all the time?
A little bit like that, but then cost effective.
Which never do them anymore. I can't agree that they're overrated. I've always loved the fireworks shows.
Yeah, especially the Julie Andrews one.
That was my favorite for sure.
And then I loved Disneyland Forever. I always sing "Step into the Magic." I'm not gonna sing it. Oh, and then "Happily Ever After." Yes, incredible. But yeah, if you've seen them once and your main goal is ride the rides during the fireworks and get a beautiful view. Yeah, so that's kind of true. That's both. True. Yeah, I love it.
Maybe not taking the entire time to watch the show if that's not your thing. But
yeah.
I like them. I like them personally.
So at Lulu B Buzzin' Memories, she said the movie Hercules was not needed. And I think there's a lot of Disney movies that weren't like needed.
Yeah.
A lot, within a certain period of time, you're like, I'm never going to watch that again. Hercules. So when it comes to needed, we don't watch it all the time, but if we didn't have,
Go the Distance.
Ooh, that would be really sad because I love Go the Distance. And I do know a lot of huge Hercules fans.
There are a lot.
We're not like the biggest Hercules fans, but
the song makes it worth it.
The music is really good in Hercules, actually. But we feel you, Lulu, in a sense, because it's not like
it's not a
favorite.
Go-to. Yeah. I never feel the urge to watch it. I just listen to the song all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Go the Distance is definitely up there on the favorites list of Disney songs.
Oh yeah, but major shout out to Lulu. She's been so supportive ever since we started this podcast, and we love you so much.
Totally. Yeah. Next up, at Just Shano said Stitch is way overrated. I think I'd have to agree with that. It's hard. Our son loves him, and he is a cute character, and I do love the movie. But yeah, I think
they do try to put him in everything.
A little bit too many things. Yeah, for a time frame when Disney movies were not the best, that one was one of the best of them. But it's just weird to have one movie from that time frame that is so overly used with the character, I guess.
Yeah.
He's kind of everywhere.
I love Stitch.
Yeah. And I appreciate him even more because my son has always loved him. I feel like he's kind of out of his Stitch phase a little bit. He was obsessed with it for a while, and he's kind of on to a few other ones now. But it's special to me because it was one of his first favorite movies, I think.
But I could see how people were like, wait, Stitch again? Really? But yeah, he's cute. He's adorable. He's fun. But they put him in everything. So next up we have at JPez83. And he said that a lot of people say that Disney adults who frequent the parks have problems. And he's saying it's a hot take that they don't have problems. And I agree. We do this a whole episode on Disney adults. We did it a while back. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll pop it up here. But that was just a really fun episode to do because it was a way that we kind of opened our hearts about, why we connected with Disney, the movies, the parks and everything so much. And we got such a great response from that episode. Listeners just, breaking down why they love the park and their connection to it. And it was just a really sweet time. And so we feel you, Paul, who wrote this in. We just actually saw him a week and a half or so ago, and we went to the parks, and it was just a great time meeting him. So yeah, I agree.
Totally. We're on the exact same page.
Yep, for sure.
Next up is at All Day All Disney, and they said Genie Plus is not worth the price. I would definitely agree with that. We've only done it once, I guess.
I did on this trip by
You
myself.
did.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
then we did it once
You
before.
did an extra time, but I feel like for what you pay for it, it doesn't do enough to be worth it.
Yeah.
'Cause you still end
You
up
can't
waiting
get
in
as many.
lines.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, with fast passes, I feel like it was almost immediate that you would be on the rides and you weren't paying for it. So it's like, I don't know.
That system was just a lot better.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess anything that gets you onto rides quicker is kind of where they get some of the lines, and towards the latter half of the day can just be so insanely long.
Yeah.
I guess paying something to help with that isn't terrible, especially when you consider that, you know, in Universal, you pay quite a bit more than that, but it's for every single
immediate,
ride.
and it's
immediate.
like immediate access. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Which
it's a
that is
little
really
different.
because sometimes it depends on the day, right? Like Genie Plus, there's some days where you could probably get a whole bunch of lightning lanes for rides, but then there's other days where it seems like you could only get like maybe 3 throughout your day, you know? So it really depends on your day, but we typically don't do it. I got it on this last trip because I wanted to do some rides and not have to wait and stand by and leave her with our son out for too long. So I did get a couple of lightning lanes in, and it was really nice. But yeah, there are some rides where the lightning lane drops you out where you still have quite a bit of a line to go through. And so it's like, that's not really worth the money. But yeah, totally feel you.
And that's tough to pay extra for some other rides too. Like,
oh yeah, that's ridiculous. It's so stupid. Sometimes single rider is the way to go on those ones. Like Radiator Springs, you have to pay for the Genie Plus, and then you have to pay for the individual lightning lane, $15 or something. And it's like, oh, just single ride it, and you get on like almost instantly.
Yeah, we always do single rider on Radiator Springs.
Yeah, no, we literally always do. It just works so well. But to end off our list and kind of going off of that, so we just heard that Genie Plus is not worth the price. Now we have two. This is a pretty hot take to end it on, but we had at Drusilla Hughes and at Rox Lehman who said Disney is priced correctly. Hotels and parks reach capacity, so people are paying. They said, you know, that doesn't mean that they like that it's priced so high, but the pricing is correct. And then Drusilla added on that, you know, she's excluding Genie Plus because she thinks that's ridiculous. But when it comes to tickets, hotels, food, all that stuff, if you think of the law of supply and demand, people are paying, people are still going, people are still buying all the expensive food and drinks. So technically, they're kind of maximizing as much as they can.
Yeah,
it's sad because I don't want to pay that much.
It's a bummer to think about how expensive it is and like could continue to be because people just keep paying the prices.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you think about the hotels and the park, it is so much money. But yeah, people are paying it. And so I guess, of course, Disney is going to charge whatever they can to be able to have that money for, you know, putting it back into the park, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, and I looked at similar theme parks around that area too. And Universal's getting really expensive too. And like we said, you pay more for their quote unquote fast pass service than you do for Genie Plus. Obviously, that includes a lot more things, but theme parks in general are just getting really expensive. And so, yeah, I do think that it is priced correctly, even though I don't like it. I do wish there was a way for people who were more lower income, if there was some sort of way that they could get them a little bit cheaper so that they could still create those memories with family. Obviously, you get into this whole, you know, complicated mess of, you know, how you determine that and all that stuff. But I don't know. I do think that Disney should be for everyone. And a lot of people say it's not for everyone. It's like a luxury experience, you know? But I do believe that Disney should be for everyone. But maybe there's like pricing tiers. I don't know. That's so complicated, but I do want everyone to get to experience Disney in their own way. But I don't want the parks to get too crowded.
I know.
And I would pay the expensive prices because, you know, in order to allow people to go. I don't know. It's hard. The balance is hard.
It is really hard. And I think the biggest bummer is the resorts on property. The pricing of those is completely
Disneyland in particular.
Yes, that's what I'm
Disney
talking
World has a lot better offerings.
Yes, and I was going to talk about that as well because Disneyland resorts, are just unreachable prices for
Yeah.
the majority of people like us and others like us. There's just no possible way.
Yeah.
We just never could do it. We had in the past you stayed in Grand Californian once. I've stayed in the Disneyland Hotel once with you. And it was amazing, but it was a much cheaper price at the time. And I think we
got it for free because my sister.
Or mostly free. I think we paid for like one night or something.
Yeah.
But she was working at a radio station and got a sponsored stay there, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But overall now prices are insane. And the fact that the only resort options on property in Disneyland are all that expensive. I'm guessing Pixar Hotel.
Yeah, Pixar Place Hotel.
Pixar Place Hotel is probably going to be the same.
It's going to bump up, yeah.
They're all going to remain that. And the fact that Disney World has so many more options, some of which are totally within,
a doable
range of what we can do.
But yeah, the prices are insane for a stay here. Yeah. That I don't think it's the price is correct because those things are just insanely overpriced.
There should be like some rooms that are much cheaper and they get more expensive, but there should be some that are just, a little bit farther away or, whatever the case is that are just a couple $100 cheaper because the start of them is like 700 or more. Yeah,
it's a lot.
Way too much.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways,
it's wild.
Tangent over. But that was the hot takes from us and our listeners.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Sorry, hopefully we didn't upset you all too much. We're all entitled to our opinions. And I feel like a lot of those hot takes were much hotter than ours were.
Our listeners are brutal.
Yeah.
Man.
They are pretty brutal.
No, just kidding. We love you guys. We love you guys, even if we disagree with some of those. That's the great part about, having a little podcast and page and everything. I love hearing people's opinions. It was so fun to finally do a hot takes episode. We've been a little nervous to do this, but it's finally out in the open. And we just want the world knows our opinions now. And we want to give you guys a chance to let your opinions know. If you didn't catch our Instagram sticker and didn't put in one of your hot takes, I want you guys to go to YouTube right now, list out a hot take of yours in the comments. Let us know. Or if there's one that popped up from either us or a listener, say, oh yeah, I totally agree with that too. Let's start a little chain here on YouTube. That would be awesome to see.
Yeah.
Let your ideas fly, just get them out there. But with that, we just want to thank you all so much for listening to our episode. Thank you so much for understanding our hot takes and not unfollowing us or downvoting our YouTube video. Thank you for sticking with us. If you want to find our followers who gave their hot takes, go find them and get mad at that. No, I'm just kidding. No, but honestly, thank you so much. And we will be back next week. We love you all and we will see you then.
See you then, guys. Bye.